We've been a resilient group all year. We just need to think about going and winning one game, go to Toronto and get that tonight. A little bit of a strange box score. Obviously, Van Fleet from the three-point line and them in general from the three-point line was huge impact on the game. They got to the free throw line more than us, and just we couldn't get. We needed a couple of rebounds there down the stretch. That I think when we look at the film, we'll feel like if we could have gotten a few more defensive rebounds from the 5, 4, 3-minute mark on, maybe the end result would have been different. But we'll get ready, we'll get prepared, go to Toronto.
Coach Bud, Greg Matzik, WTMJ. You mentioned rebounding. You out-rebounded them on the night, but it seemed like some of their threes were long rebounds, a couple that glanced off the rim, especially late. From your view, were those hustle plays made by the Raptors or stuff you can't really do much about given the way the ball was coming off the rim?
Some of both, but I think when Kawhi Leonard shoots a three from the three-point line and goes in and gets his own miss, that is a critical play that can't happen. The one with the shot clock violation or where it glanced off the rim, Gasol and Brooke are battling, and if it just takes a little slightly different bounce, Chris is going to get that. And still a little uncertainty on exactly why they went to review and the order of things that occurred in that particular instance. But, that's a tough bounce. Others we got to get to, find a way. All five guys got to participate.
Matt Velasquez, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, just continuing with those offensive rebounds, just how deflating can those plays be when you guys are trying to battle back?
Very.
Eric Name, The Athletic. Bud, I'm curious with it. It's quite a scene to see blood running down Giannis's face on a TV screen. Just what do you think of his whistle tonight and kind of the way he's officiated?
Yeah, it just feels like he should be at the free throw line more. They have a couple of guys that are veterans that are very crafty that seem to get there a lot. Lowry, when he drives, you got to be incredibly disciplined. He creates a lot of contact and is rewarded for it. Giannis, creates a lot of the same contact and doesn't seem to get the same whistle, get the same reward. But, I think the officials, they got a tough job. They do the best they can. We'd love for Giannis to get to the free throw line more, feel like he deserves it. But that's, we're talking about the rebounding, the three-point line, those types of things. Those are the things that we got to focus on and get better.
Kane Pittman with the pick and roll. You did touch on the three-point defense. They obviously shoot pretty well tonight, and the corner three has been something that you guys have defended well all season. What did you see tonight from the three-point defense?
Well, I saw Van Fleet just have a monster night. Sometimes, I think a couple of them felt really deep. A couple of them felt very contested. I'm sure he had a couple of good open looks too. So to get to 7 out of 9 from the three-point line is just killer. So Kawhi step back three, when it's 85 or 82, 81, that's a tough shot. Credit to him for making it. Credit to Van Fleet for making them. Whoever else, they sprinkled in a couple others that made them. But, Van Fleet really stands out at the three-point line, and then Kawhi making 5 is, if we can make, usually he's just making them off the dribble. So just got to be better.
Bud, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. This was Kawhi's all-time high with 9 assists, all of those on three-pointers. What did you see his most dramatic impact in the game tonight, both on the offensive end and again on the defensive end, messing with Giannis's ability to dominate the game?
Well, I think he's playing with the pass in a way that's helping his teammates, and you don't get 9 assists unless your teammates step up and make the shots. So, I don't know how many of those went to Van Fleet. I know one coming out of the halftime or ATO, to Lowry. So he's doing a nice job of playing with his teammates and sharing the ball. And as far as defensively, he's a good defender. I don't know. I think it's their whole group that's been good and effective.
Steve Ashburn, NBA.com. with 112 left, Giannis went out. Did he just need a blow at that point? He'd taken a little bit of a beating up till right then.
No, he twisted his ankle in the backcourt. He tried to, I think kind of get a steal or surprise. I think it was Leonard with the ball, and I think his foot just stepped on, whether it was Leonard or Lowry, whoever's foot it was, and he just looked like he was in a lot of pain and maybe couldn't move. And we had an offensive possession, just maybe get somebody out there could move, make a shot, and I think kind of worn off, or the adrenaline wore off, and he was able to go back in.
Coach Keith Jenkins from the Associated Press. You went with a different starting five tonight. Malcolm Brogdon got the start. What were you trying to do there with that strategy, and did you get what you were trying to get out of that?
Yeah, I thought Malcolm was very good overall, and I think it's a group that started 64, 65 games for us. So Malcolm has been the starter for the preponderance of the season, and so just felt like it was a time for that group to start again. And he did a lot of things well. Pleased with Malcolm.
Matt Velasquez, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Yeah, obviously that starting group did well and got off to good starts in the first and third quarters. But what did you think about the way that kind of changed your rotations and maybe how the bench handled tonight?
Yeah, the starters, a lot of positives there. We didn't get as much from our bench as we have at different times during the playoffs, and just Van Fleet alone. But Norman Powell hit some shots early. I thought when we were, we got off to the good start, and so their bench has played well. Our bench, we need to get a little bit more out of them. But as far as the subs, again, it's Malcolm has started a ton of games this year, and so it was kind of like going back to a lot of the routine and a lot of the subs and patterns that we've had all year.
Bud, Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports. You guys are kind of in uncharted territory. You haven't had your back against the wall much this year. What are you seeing from your guys right now?
Yeah, I think, we talk about the character of the group and the toughness and competitiveness of the group. We're, it's first to four. We got to go to Toronto and get a game, and I think the group will be ready. They'll fill their cup up and be ready to go.
Eric Name, The Athletic, but I'm curious, you guys come out, switch a little bit more, seem to really disrupt them in the first quarter, and then that second quarter you scored 2 points in 6.5 minutes. Just how big of a swing was that in the game that you don't go into the half with a bigger lead?
Yeah, no, we had a dry spell there where, I think we had a 10-point, different times 12-point lead maybe in the first quarter, and second quarter we just couldn't get anything to go. We'll look at the film. Sometimes it's, offense that needs to be better and improved, or, we just, maybe missed some good looks. It's, something we'll review on film.
Bud, Nico obviously out of the starting lineup tonight, then only plays 9 minutes. He again couldn't get those shots to go. Where do you see him in the rotation, obviously for Game 6 and the rest of the series?
Yeah, we'll evaluate everything and see, how Nico fits when, he gives us great spacing, great shooting. If he can help us off the bench, then obviously we'll use him, and he can be very helpful to us. All right, thanks.